So we're here at the Counterculture Training Center with Ivania Rivera, who is Vice Manager of Specialty Cafes for Aldea Global. Thanks so much for sitting down with us.
Thanks for inviting us.
It's a great opportunity. Can you tell us a little bit about Aldea Global?
Yes. We are a farmers association in Nicaragua. Right now we have over 11,000 members, total members. From those we have some vegetable producer, women who do some businesses in the rural area. And from those, 4,800 are small coffee producers, really small coffee farmers. So we started in 1992 and has been in the coffee industry since 2000. And we are growing every year, little by little. So,
awesome.
And offer very different specialty coffees, very different qualities of coffees.
Sure. Okay, very cool. What does your role within the organization entail?
Well, I do kind of everything,
Sure.
but I have a lot of contact with the farmers, with the producers. I normally are taking care of the receiving centers, working with the dry milling process to do the different preparations of coffee that we have in contract. I also do the sales and the contracts with importers and follow up with roasters.
Okay, very cool. So kind of working in a
middle
area between connecting roasters and producers.
Yeah,
very
right.
cool. Awesome. It's exciting for us because we don't get the opportunity to talk much with people involved in producing. We get to talk to roasters all the time, but it's a really awesome, unique opportunity to get to talk to somebody who gets to work with the farmers. How did you get involved with Aldea originally?
Well, it was something that I always liked, coffee, because the first experience I had in coffee was I was a coffee picker in a farm. So I was wondering what's next.
Sure.
What happens to the coffee cherry? What happens to the coffee parchment? Where this coffee is going to? So that was when I was really young, like a kid. And then I moved to the US to study agriculture business for export, and came back to Nicaragua and went to Aldea Global to see if there was a job opportunity for me. And of course it was, because we are coffee producers. Jinotega is a region that produces like 60% of the coffee from Nicaragua.
Yeah.
So it's a very good opportunity for the career that I studied.
Yeah, that's great. It's an interesting story because we often work backwards. Like I worked in a cafe when I was a college student making coffee, and I've always had an interest in where the coffee comes from. So it's very interesting to hear the reverse of that. Someone who was involved in producing the coffee wanting to know more about where it ends up. That's very exciting, and it's great how we can bring those two groups together, and I think that's really interesting. So what excites you most about coffee in general as an industry?
For me, it's something that it's really important and it excites me a lot. It's all the people that is involved in the coffee industry. It's not only for production, but the transport, the milling, the process, the shipping, the importing the coffee, roasting the coffee, putting together all the different logistics and people that takes to move this coffee from the producer to the final consumer.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hands involved.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of love.
Yeah, and there's a lot of
passion.
The exciting thing I think about third wave roasting too is that you get passion all the way. It's not just right at the beginning and then it goes to some huge business roaster. It's small roasters that have a concern for the people that are producing the coffee too.
Yeah, I get imagine, for example, having a cup of coffee.
Mm-hmm.
How many cherries does this cup need?
Mm-hmm.
How many hands picked that coffee?
Yeah.
Who was in charge of selling and buying that coffee? Who did the logistics? Who did the transportation? Who did the distribution? Who did all the different process takes a lot of effort, a lot of hands, a lot of passion.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's excited about coffee.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I would say that's one of many things that excites me too. What do you feel makes coffee from Nicaragua unique?
Well, I would say for Nicaragua, and maybe for most of the producer, it's a living style. It's something that our people is doing for a lifetime. Once you was born in a farm, once you grew up in a coffee farmer family, then that's something that you will do for life.
Sure.
That's something that will become the other way of income for the farm, the way of living, the way that the produce that is paying for the whole life of the family. So something that is really unique for Nicaraguan coffee is that all the process, all the production is done by family members. 92% of the producers in Nicaragua are small producers. So they are normally doing all the process with the family.
Sure.
Yeah, that's something that it's important.
Yeah, that's really interesting, and I imagine that leads to sort of a respect for all parts of the process that maybe you wouldn't see in a sort of factory farming setting.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely
everything is
unique
done
and important.
by the family.
Very
Even
cool.
the kids, you will see the kids during the harvest period,
Sure.
and they are taking care of the quality. They are doing some kind of sorting of the coffees to add more quality to it.
Sure.
So they get involved to the process.
That's great. So something we kind of talked about that ties into all of this, obviously, a little earlier was the current sociopolitical climate in Nicaragua is tumultuous, a little in flux, and I think a lot of people here and in most parts of the Western world don't have a great understanding of what that really means, especially not when it comes to how it affects the coffee trade. So do you have any thoughts on that in particular?
Well, we had some difficulties when this situation started back in April, and it turns really difficult to do some shippings of the coffee in some part of Nicaragua. But in terms of the coffee area, the rural area was not affected, and the producers continue taking care of the farm, continue working, and this year we are preparing all the receiving centers to receive that coffee. So what we have to do during this kind of political crisis, socio-political crisis, is support the farmers.
Sure.
Because we cannot say, hey, I'm not buying your coffee because of this and this is going on in Nicaragua, or I'm not financing your coffee because this and this is going on in Nicaragua. No, we have to support the members, because if they receive the services that they require, they stay in the farm, they keep producing, and that's the only way we can say we are here to support our members.
Right.
So we provide them with loans during even during the crisis. We provide our members with loans. We are financing right now. We are opening our branch offices to attend our members and getting ready for shipping and sales the coffee.
That's great.
Yeah,
and I
so
think
it's. I know many importers and roasters are worried about if this coffee is going out to Nicaragua, but the coffee needs to get out of Nicaragua anyway.
Right.
Yeah, and we don't have any reason to have the coffee there.
Right.
So.
And I think it speaks to, regardless of the political climate, that these are still families and people that are working these farms.
And it's the rural area. Most of the
Right.
crisis, it's happening in the big cities.
Sure.
The big cities and the urban places.
Mm-hmm.
But the rural area is working.
Yep. Yeah. And
It's working there.
it's the
Everybody
same people
needs to
that have been
produce
working
coffee.
there. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very interesting. And I think it's a great we're very privileged to be able to ask you directly about things like that, because that's something that it's hard for us to get an accurate picture of a lot of the time.
Yeah.
With the wild news cycles that we see here, it's hard to get reliable information about that. Do you think, kind of political challenges aside, sort of more broadly and maybe even historically, what do you think the biggest challenge is for growing coffee in the region specifically?
Well, right now, many people may think political is a issue or a challenge, but I think prices is a biggest challenge right now.
Sure.
Not the political crisis.
Yeah.
Because as you've seen during the last months, the New York City prices has been it went lower than 100, and for a producer takes more effort, require more money
Sure.
to produce one pound of coffee.
Yeah.
So it gets really difficult to negotiate prices, and when the New York price is down,
Right.
as it is right now.
Yeah.
Right now it's 120. A few weeks ago it was 90, 95, 98. So it was a really difficult time for the producer, because they ask, if the coffee prices are like this, how we are going to keep producing, how we are going to invest in the farm, how we are going to pay our farmers or workers to pick the coffee, how we are going to move that coffee from here to the receiving centers, how we continue the process.
Right.
Because New York prices is like a reference for local prices too.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, for small farmers, it's really difficult to think that we have been working in this farm for many years. This is the only way we have money into the farm. And now I'm selling my coffee for less than it costs to produce.
Right.
So that's a big challenge right now in Nicaragua. In
I believe
Nicaragua
it.
and the region
Sure.
itself.
Yeah, I think that speaks to the value and importance of organizations like yours too, in terms of building those alliances and trying to help provide answers for those farmers, because without that help, that it might be even harder for them.
But I'm also not only talking about the 4,800 members that we have.
Sure.
Because in Nicaragua we have 42,000 coffee producers. What about the rest?
Yeah.
What about the coffee farmers who are not part of one cooperative or one organization like Aldea and has to sell their coffee locally? It's difficult for them.
Yeah, that's a definite challenge. Would hope to see as political environment improves that perhaps that could be we'd see prices improve there as well.
Yeah,
definitely. Well, we appreciate your time so much. Did you have any other thoughts that you wanted to share before we close the interview?
Well, something that I always encourage people in the industry is, if you are here, if you have the chance to talk to people about coffee, it's good for you someday in your life, come and visit us.
Definitely.
That's the only way you can get the real information from the farmer on how to produce coffee, on all the effort it takes to produce a single bean. Did you know coffee is hand-picked? Did you know coffee is sun-dried?
But I bet many people don't.
Yes, many people don't know. So it's good for all the people who is involved in coffee to know the process, all the process it takes, all the people it takes.
Yeah, well, that's great.
That's something that I'd like to.
Well, we appreciate your knowledge and willingness to share that information with us, and we'll do our best to try to educate people on that too.
That's something that I always encourage to do.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Appreciate your time. Yeah, thanks.